It's 12:07 on Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to the John Phillips Show. Johnny's on vacation this week. He'll be back on Tuesday because Monday's a holiday and we're going to run a best of. It's Randy Wang here flying solo. The phone number is 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. And, of course, you can email us at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. The news that just broke minutes ago, Los Angeles County Supervisor, Los Angeles City Councilman, and now, Los Angeles criminal convict Mark Ridley Thomas has been sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. That's federal prison. He's to report on November 13th, was actually supposed to be reporting to prison on November 6th, but that's his birthday. So the judge wants to give him one last big birthday celebration. And then MRT is going to prison for corruption and bribery, and the most obvious charge, trying to get USC to wire $100,000 from his campaign money to his son's crooked charity. Bye-bye, Mark Ridley Thomas. It was nice knowing you. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Well, it was an incredibly hot weekend in Southern California. Things are going to calm down, but, it's actually going to be nice and cool for Labor Day weekend. But not only was it really hot outside, there was a lot of energy in South L.A. as Karen Bass, Mayor Mother Goose, as we know her on this show.
If you're feeling down, if you're feeling blue, let's get help for you.
And Councilman Marquise Harris Dawson, who we don't have a drop of yet, they hosted a big ribbon-cutting ceremony for some low-income housing that was built with your tax dollars. Proposition HHH. And they wanted to celebrate about it. Let's hear from Marquise Harris Dawson as he introduces Karen Bass.
Here on Crenshaw is our own mayor from our neighborhood, the leader of the city of Los Angeles, the one and only Karen Ruth Bass.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing today?
I get so distracted with that intro for the weirdest reason, and I'll go ahead and tell you. So, for many, 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 many years before I came here to KABC, I was the guy who cut up Jesse Jackson clips for Conway. Yeah! And I would download on my TiVo the Rainbow Push Coalition every single Sunday to listen to Jesse so I could get my What the Hell Did Jesse Jackson clips ready. Yes, sir! Well, every time they would bring Jesse out on the stage, they would intro him with the exact same music, Stevie Wonder's Living for the City. So I had a little bit of a flashback the first time I heard this.
Angeles, the one and only Karen Ruth Bass.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing today? Isn't it nice to have a day in L.A. where we can celebrate?
Oh, I love this Karen Bass. Ribbon-cutting Karen Bass is the happiest Karen Bass.
Isn't it nice to have a day in L.A. where we can celebrate? Celebrate our people getting housed. And I had the opportunity a few minutes ago to talk to the folks that are living in there, and this is life-changing. This is the change that can happen all over our city.
That's right. Let's get rid of all the single-family homes and put up slums.
But I just want to talk about the councilman for a minute. I don't want him to listen. Close your ears.
All right. We're going to do some loving on Marquise Harris Dawson, who is now the number 2 at the L.A. City Council, because Curran Price, who's being arraigned today, has also been indicted on charges, although locally. It's a great weekend for the L.A. City Council.
He was in the city council for about a month before he saw the need to have voters all weigh in to help get the housing built.
Wait a second. I didn't know this. Did you? Marquise Harris Dawson is the man behind Prop HHH in the city of L.A.? I did not know that.
And so he led the effort for Proposition HHH that everybody says nothing happened because of Proposition HHH. Well, the next time you hear somebody say that, you pull out your cell phone and you show them a picture of this building here and that building there, and you say, we have proof.
That's right. 7 years later and billions of dollars later, here's 2 buildings we built. Oh, I love when they defend the HHH. And in the county, you got H as well. Lots of H's going on.
Well, the next time you hear somebody say that, you pull out your cell phone and you show them a picture of this building here and that building there, and you say, we have proof for what happened. That's why voters vote.
Hey, since 2016, when voters did pass those homeless housing initiatives, the quarter-cent sales tax citywide and countywide to pay for services and housing and rehab and all of these things, has the population gone up or down? I think we all know the answer.
It's not a namsy-pamsy thing.
For what happened. That's why voters vote. And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
What? Uh-oh. Did you know about this?
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money. We have to make sure we take care of those people who are struggling with mental health and substance abuse, and you'll have an opportunity to vote for that in March.
We're going to come back to that. I feel like that's important. The city wants even more money to deal with the housing problem and to deal with the mental illness and to deal with substance abuse. What happened to the money that they're all going to get from ULA that passed, where if you sell a building that's worth more than $5 million, the city gets a VIG? Oh, they're still working that one out in court? I see. Well, let's just remember that Karen Bass said this.
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
But we're not done making fun of this event, because now Karen Bass wants to celebrate how great Crenshaw is.
But Crenshaw is changing. Now, he didn't just do HHH. He had to do Destination Crenshaw also to make sure that this street never forgets, this city never forgets the historic roots of Crenshaw. And we want to promote cultural tourism. There is more to see LA than Hollywood. Hollywood is wonderful, but Destination Crenshaw is good also.
Did you hear it? I did. Let's play it for you.
I love to rhyme. You love to rhyme. Let's rhyme together and have a good time.
Here's Karen Bass.
Hollywood is wonderful, but Destination Crenshaw is good also.
Not her best. Definitely not at the level of...
If you're feeling down, if you're feeling blue, let's get help for you.
Or even this one.
Landowners, just take one, just take two, and we'll work with you.
But it's also not a slouch either.
Hollywood is wonderful, but Destination Crenshaw is good also.
Destination Crenshaw. You know what? I shouldn't knock it till I've been there. So maybe it's great down there. I don't know. I have barely ventured a half mile outside of this radio station until last week and didn't even know there was a beautiful hiking trail within walking distance. Baldwin Hills Scenic Overlook. It's absolutely beautiful there. Karen Bass has got some more shout-outs.
I also want to thank St. Joseph Center and Hopix. St. Joseph, I see you waving your hand.
We're giving all the shout-outs to all the organizations that get all the H and Triple H money, because they're doing fantastic.
I also want to thank St. Joseph Center and Hopix. St. Joseph, I see you waving your hand, Miss New CEO. And Miss former CEO, Felicia Adams Kellum, Doctor.
What just happened? She's giving a shout out to Felicia Adams Kellum, who used to work at one of these nonprofits that's profiting off of the homeless operation. And now she's in charge of LAHSA. And she makes $460,000 a year, I'm estimating. I know it's in the 4 to 5 range. I think it's $450,000. To deal with the homeless problem, which means Barbara Ferrer makes $200K more than her.
No, thank you.
But this is an interesting way to pronounce Valicia Adams Kellum.
And Miss former CEO Valicia Adams Kellum, Doctor.
Feel like we might do something with that. If you know what game I want to play, you can email us at johnnydontlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydontlikeshow@gmail.com.
Doctor.
That is a strange way to say doctor.
Doctor, who is the head of LAHSA in our county and our lead.
Why is she extending the end word of every sentence?
Doctor, who is the head of LAHSA in our county and our lead partner in making sure that we can get our people housed.
That's right, and she's doing a bang-up job at it. Except the numbers went up over 10% in the city, 9% in the county in just the last year. So, great. Hey, remember when Karen Bass said we need more of your money?
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
Well, for a little more detail into what she's talking about, let's dip into Karen Bass's interview this Friday with our buddy Alex Michelson.
I can't deal with this.
On the issue is.
I know you're also working with Governor Newsom. This is a statewide issue as well.
Right.
Obviously, homelessness is. And we're looking at potential propositions for next year.
Yes.
What are we looking at?
I am very happy to say that there will be 2 ballot initiatives. People ask me all the time, but what about mental health? So help is on the way. In March, voters will have an opportunity to vote for a bond.
Wait, they can't pay for it with all the money they have now? We need another bond for even more money to deal with the mentally ill? That doesn't seem like we're acting with urgency, does it, Mayor?
Oh, you're so optimistic.
It's my favorite one of her so far.
But what about mental health? So help is on the way. In March, voters will have an opportunity to vote for a bond that will allow us to build the facilities that had been committed to 5 decades ago. There'll also be another ballot initiative that will allow for flexibility with funding that already exists so that we can get the people who are profoundly ill off the streets before they die on these streets or before they hurt other people.
And it's such an emergency, we can't take any of the tax money that we already have. We need to raise your taxes once again to deal with the mentally ill out there. And separate proposition would allow us to move around money that's specifically designated for things. I would assume to help the mentally ill, but wouldn't that also mean that money that's set aside for the mentally ill, you could move to whatever project you want because it's no longer in a lockbox? Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, the track record has not been great with some of these propositions and some of these ballot measures that have cost us quite a bit of money. I mean, I'm not saying that you feel it every single time you go shopping, but it's definitely significant. And the money that's been raised has not contributed to solving the problem. In fact, the problem has gotten a lot worse. So when Karen Bass says this...
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
I don't know if I'm giving her any more money. I voted yes on H. I voted yes on HHH. And I have seen no results for that. I voted yes on Measure M. And, well, Metro is not significantly better than when Measure M was not passed. I voted no on ULA, but that one passed anyway. But at this point, I'm not convinced that even if she says this is what the money's going to go towards, it's going to go towards it or it's going to solve the problem.
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
So here is my question to you, the KABC audience, who's going to be helping me out all week because it's just you and me this week. Johnny's in Europe. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. The state of California has their hand out once again and needs more money to finally deal with the mental health problems. Despite so many different measures being passed, including back in 2003, including in HHH, and so many other bills, they still haven't actually done anything about this. They haven't rebuilt the system that was dismantled in the 70s and 80s. But this time, for real, This time, if you give us a little more money, you're going to see some results.
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
So, KABC audience at 800-222-KABC, will you vote to give the state of California any more money for the homeless and the mentally ill? 800-222-KABC. There's going to be two different ballot measures you're voting for in March that will raise your taxes for more funding for the mentally ill and the homeless. Are you going to pay up? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. And, of course, I forgot that I also need to do the bumper music today. So, you know what? Maybe I can get someone to help me out. Karen Bass, can you do the bumper music for me right now?
Doctor, doctor.
Can't you see I'm burning, burning?
Oh, doctor, doctor.
It's love I'm
It's 1227 on Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to The John Phillips Show. It's Randy Wang here. Mayor Karen Bass was in South L.A. celebrating the ribbon cutting of a HHH property. How exciting is that? She was there with Marquise Harris Dawson and Felicia Adams Kellum of LASA.
Doctor.
Excuse me, Dr. Felicia Adams Kellum. That's right. Karen Bass made the wall early today.
Doctor.
The phone number is 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. At this event, Mayor Karen Bass said, we need more of your money.
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
They want another ballot initiative to raise taxes again for a bond to build mental health housing. I don't believe anything that they say when it comes to anything that costs us more money. Because HHH and H were supposed to solve the homeless problem, and they didn't. So, when you get to vote this March, will you be voting yes or no to raise your taxes once again for more money?
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
Will you be giving the state of California any more money? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's start with Ron in Seal Beach. Ron, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, Randy, good job as usual, buddy.
Thank you.
Hey, I would tell Karen Bass, no, hell no, you could go to hell. I would rather give my money to MS-13. Or they think we're that stupid? Do they think we're that stupid, Randy? Every time we vote for these jokers, they get worse. Progressive, perfect name, progressively destroying our city. Look at, they just gave Mark Ridley Thomas 3.5 years today. He went from the wall of fame to wall of shame. Every single one of these dirtbags. I'm fired up. I'm ready. I can't believe it. Randy, I'm just so upset besides myself. How do they have the gall, the audacity to ask us for more money? Tell Karen Bass as soon as she puts her whole paycheck up, I'll follow. But she needs to put her paycheck in first.
You know what? That's a fantastic idea, and I'm totally with you. If the politicians need to raise more money to fulfill their promises, like dealing with the people on the street, how about every single elected official, including the mayor, the city council, the assemblyman, all take a pay cut?
I love it, Randy. Keep it going, buddy. You're doing a great job, and thank you for giving me my 2 cents. And I hope people really start waking up because there's going to be a lot more pain ahead. Shopping malls, it's going to be everything.
Oh, we'll get to that later. Ron, thanks so much for the call. We appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. At an event this weekend in South L.A., Mayor Karen Bass said we need more money.
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
This one apparently is to build mental health housing, but I feel like we've voted on that quite a few times. Will you be voting to give the state of California any more of your money? 800-222-KABC. At an event in South L.A. celebrating some HHH housing, Mayor Karen Bass, joined by Marquise Harris Dawson and LASA CEO Felicia Adams Kellum.
Doctor.
Excuse me, Dr. Valicia Adams-Kellum, Karen Bass said that we're going to need a little more of your money if you want to deal with all the mentally ill on the street.
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
That's right. There's going to be a bond measure on the ballot in March to raise even more money to solve the problem they say they've been working on for years and years and years and years. And a separate ballot measure that would mean any money that's dedicated for anything they could use for whatever they want. So will you be voting yes to give the state even more money to deal with the mentally ill and the homeless?
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
800-222-KABC. Let's start with Jackson in Palmdale. Jackson, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, John. Thank you. Just cannot vote this in because 20% of the homeless population are veterans. Call your representatives, demand that veterans be given better alternatives to the streets and mental health care, and that will solve it from the grassroots up. Karen Bass is out of her mind, and there's no way you're going to pay your way out of mental health because it's already in our taxes. How these people go to rehab, maybe you could start there, but let's take care of our veterans, okay?
Oh, we absolutely should. And the thing that's always been so infuriating here, Jackson, especially in Los Angeles, is there's this huge piece of land that over 100 years ago was set aside for the veterans, for veteran housing. And what did the people who are in charge of that land do? They leased it out to a bunch of private schools. Right.
So there again, the VA needs to be completely overhauled. Let's start with our representatives and our Senate people because we get a send-off when you come back from when I was in Afghanistan. Don't beat your wife. Don't drink and drive. Follow the laws. Go to the VA. The VA is corrupt, and it was totally available for most veterans to get a respectable and reasonable way to restart your life and you come back from overseas. If you took 20% of the homeless population off the street, those would be veterans. It would improve there, and they would lead by example by being given or earning what we already deserve. And the civilian, too, with your tax dollars. Karen Bass doesn't need no more money. So let's get this done from grassroots, not top down.
Absolutely, Jackson. Thank you so much for the call, and thank you for your service. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Karen Bass has her hand out.
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
Will you vote to give the state of California any more money to solve the homeless and mental health crisis? 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Azusa with Tina. Tina, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey. So, no, I will not be voting for that either. I did vote for HHH, you did. But I've seen what they've done. I'm on the streets helping the homeless out here to get into programs, and all they're doing is handing out tents. That's the housing that they're offering.
Oh, how about all the money that we dedicated towards services like substance abuse treatment, and the L.A. County Department of Public Health, instead of paying for rehab beds, is passing out meth pipes and needles.
Exactly. I mean, it's needed to a point, but when they hand out a tent to somebody that actually has a job and needs assistance getting into housing, or they're giving the housing to these fentanyl injecting people that have HIV that need more medical help in housing, and those people choose to even stay on the street even though they're given the housing. It's ridiculous. And the people in the offices, Union Station, whatever, are getting their paychecks. And I do this for free. I'm not getting a paycheck, and I'm seeing the corruption out here.
Well, that's when you really see it, because there are a lot of people making a lot of money on helping the homeless, but the people who really care are the ones who are doing it for free.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for the call, Tina. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC. Getting a whole bunch of people calling in right now. Try to get these calls in the order that they were received. I appreciate you holding on and keeping me company here. Let's go to Manhattan Beach. Linda, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hello. HE double hockey sticks, no. Would we give them another vote for more money? The state of California's 2023 budget was $7.2 billion. And if they can't spend that correctly, and then you have LA County's budget of $532 million that they're not spending correctly, they do not need another dime.
And you look at all the money that we gave them for HHH&H, and the homeless problem has skyrocketed since then.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I really agree with and the previous caller with the veterans. Take care of the veterans, but you're not getting any more of my money.
Thank you so much for the call, Linda. Appreciate it. Will you be giving Karen Bass any more of your money?
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
They say this time it's going to go towards mental health housing, but I'm pretty sure we've already voted yes on that a couple of times, and they've yet to build any mental health housing. Let's go to Sharon in Long Beach. Sharon, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hi. First of all, we do not need to build any more facilities. We have them. I happen to live in Norwalk. Metropolitan State Hospital, which I have friends that work there. They had the biggest facility for mental health. They closed half of them, half that hospital, and I think it's completely closed. Also in the city of Long Beach, Community Hospital, that's vacant. We have vacant facilities that the moron up there. All she has to do is get to know her constituents. We're part of LA County. We're not in LA City, but they can open up those facilities. So absolutely not. I would not give another penny. She's an idiot.
You're absolutely right, though. There are definitely places that can be used that are a lot simpler than building things from the ground up. But if you build things from the ground up, that's a lot of developers you can give sweetheart deals to. And then in turn, they're going to support your reelection campaign. We've seen this dance over and over and over again.
I was just pulling out of a parking lot, and a young girl pulled next to me, and I was listening to you. I rolled down the window, and I told her, whatever you do, don't vote for any more money for mental health. And I told her why, and she was okay. I'm very verbal. I'm not afraid. I'm going to tell everybody I know this because I'm tired of this. You know, I'm a hardworking person, and I'm telling you, there's a huge facility over there on the other side of Norwalk in between Santa Fe Springs, Metropolitan Hospital, which was designated all for mental health. What the hell? Open it, reopen it.
I agree with you. Thanks so much for the call, Sharon. Appreciate it. And yes, it's something you can do too. If you're sitting at a red light, roll down your window and tell the person next to you, hey, listen to the John Phillips Show on KBC. We would appreciate the marketing. Let's go to Teddy in Burbank. Teddy, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hi, John. Not another penny. I mean, they spent $700 million on it under Goofball, the last mayor, and nothing improved at all. The problem is they're not managing the funds. The people that get hit by this are the property owners, and as soon as I can sell my properties in Los Angeles, I am out of here because the money doesn't do any good. It's not the money. It's the fact they don't know how to manage the money.
Oh, you're 100% right about that. And Teddy, if you're looking to sell your properties, you should try selling them to the city of Los Angeles because they'll pay way over market rate to turn into homeless housing. Thank you so much for the call, Teddy. He had kind of a Tom Likas laugh at the end there. And by the way, he referenced Mayor Goofball. In case you don't remember, the former mayor of Los Angeles. It's this guy.
I received things on both ends.
He was mayor when this thing got enacted.
We often lead from the front, but it is time for us to lead from the back.
800-222-KABC is the phone number. At an event in South L.A., Karen Bass, joined by Marquise Harris Dawson and the CEO of LAHSA, who makes $450,000 a year, Felicia Adams Kellum, Dr. Felicia Adams Kellum, said that we need more of your money so we can start housing the mentally ill.
And you're going to have an opportunity to do that again in March because we need more money.
Will you be voting to give the state of California any more of your money on this subject? 800-222-KABC. Let's go down to Seal Beach. Bill in Seal Beach, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hello. Whatever you do, don't ever stop not taking calls on your radio station. I love that part of your radio station because
Me
it's
too.
the greatest. People love I love to hear people's opinions, whether I agree with them, whether I don't. I just love to hear it. But anyway, thanks for all the work that you and John do. Randy, someday we'll meet in Santa Fe, hopefully.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Anyway, to your other caller, there used to be a hospital here, but I don't know if they actually closed it down here in Costa Mesa. I won't say the name, but I had somebody that was working there, and they said they were closing them down so they could have, like, the public deal with it, whatever way they were going to do it. Just go back to that. Another thing, too, is that nobody ever talks about how many homeless people we get off the street. Everybody talks about more money, but we know where that money goes. I mean, California is the highest tax state ever. I mean, I've lived here all my life, and I've never seen it like so bad as we are now. And all I hear is everybody say we want more money. Get results out there. Let people know. Say if you get 20 homeless people come in and you get 5 out, that you gain 15. What good is that? That is no good. You got to start getting these people off of being homeless, and they need to start being accountable and say, hey, we got this many people off of homeless.
Well, and and to that point, you constantly hear politicians like Karen Bass and Garcetti before her say that, well, we're housing thousands and thousands of people, but there are so many people that fall into homelessness every single day like it's a disease you can catch.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I've lived here all my life, and anywhere I go, the other day I was driving down one of the streets here, a major street. There was 2 homeless people arguing out in the middle of the street. I mean, literally on the middle of the street arguing, almost ready to throw blows, and they were both homeless because they had their cars and everything. I know they were homeless, and like everybody behind them is like stopping on traffic, but I mean, it's ridiculous, Randy. I mean, they need to really do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the call, Bill. Appreciate it. And he's also very right about one thing. This is the station that takes your phone calls. We want to hear your opinions. A lot of the other stations don't do that. Not really sure why. I've always loved interactive talk radio, and I love that we get to take calls here at 800-222-KABC. Let's keep going. David in Long Beach. David, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, hi, Randy. Yes, David, Long Beach. As the lady from Long Beach said a little while ago about the unused buildings, and it brings up a point that I would like to make real quickly, is that Karen Bass is, I'm not calling her ignorant as in stupid, but she's ignorant of anything going on where the real people live. The homeowners, like myself and like, hundreds of thousands of others who, some listen to your show, a lot do. I do. But a lot don't. They're working. They're just not available. And the fact is, when it gets down to voting time, they've got 9 months to soften up the voting public. And that's a very small share of people that come out. And it tends to be people who have a stake in the game. They have property. They have neighborhoods. And unfortunately, what happens here, it happened on 47. It's happened in other money grab situations, Randy, that when it gets down to the push and shove, it becomes a personal issue for individuals in their neighborhoods and their homes. And they will think, I hate to say this, but I think a lot of people are going to think when they get in that ballot box or they vote by mail, whatever, is they say, it's not a lot of money. It's just, I'm paying a lot of taxes. What's a little bit more? And if they do this and it protects my neighborhood, it sort of gives me a little more insurance that maybe people aren't going to be showing up in my neighborhood. That's where that soft vote is. People tend to lose their principle when it becomes about their own best interest. And that's where I stand on it. And just to close on a high note, that doctor, Felicia, that I think she had the other day, and making an emphasis on the concept of doctor. You know what doctors do sometimes with their patients? They say, bend over. And that's what's going to be happening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for the call, David. I appreciate it. I would also add, when we vote on these propositions, what's actually in the bill is wildly different than what is on the little description and the name, which the Attorney General sets. That's why people overwhelmingly voted for the Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Act, Prop 47, not the We Want the Thieves to Run Rampant Act.
Quite frankly.
800-222-KABC is the phone number. Let's go to Harold in North Hollywood. Harold, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Well, I'll be Mr. Randy. How are you?
I'm great.
Well, let's put it this way, Randy. Doing something, it's old adage, doing something is better than doing nothing. And we can complain about, we have a lot of mentally ill in this one, and still haven't accept because our health care system is broken, and we can fund it, and hopefully some of these people will be able to get help, but a lot of them don't want the help. And unfortunately, we have created a problem in this country that's been overlooked for many years. We stopped funding for mental hospitals, thanks to Mr. Ronald Reagan. You remember those when he closed our facilities? And it's gotten worse and worse and worse, and we still haven't done anything.
Well, this is what's interesting, Harold.
Let's complaining, and let's do something, Mr. Randy.
Well, and you know what? The thing is, we did. In 2003, California voters overwhelmingly passed the Mental Health Services Act, Prop 63. But that didn't solve the problem. They didn't do anything. Us voting to give them more money isn't solving the problem. We voted to give them money to solve the homeless problem, and it didn't solve the problem. It made the problem worse.
What is your solution?
I don't have one. That's why I'm in radio. Thank you so much for the call. I'm just here to address the problem. If I had the solutions to these problems, I would be making a heck of a lot more money than I do right now. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. We take all manners of opinions here on KABC, so please call in. Ed in Woodland Hills. Ed, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Well, hello, Randy. How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah, we missed you at the French Laundry in Sherman Oaks, Valley Inn.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Valley Inn. I love the Valley Inn.
Sophie and Bruno say hi. Yeah. Anyhow, as far as paying for Mother Goose's little project, my suggestion is she drops her drawers, squats, and poops out golden eggs, and she can use the golden eggs to pay for this project because I'm not paying taxes anymore. I'm taxing us. So, love you, Randy. And it's 105 out here in Woodland Hills, but it's a dry heat.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for the call, Ed. I appreciate it. I was out there yesterday because I had to return some clothes and get some new one at the DXL because I'm a larger individual. Down 50 pounds, though. It was 107 degrees in Woodland Hills, but I braved it because I really wanted this shirt that I'm wearing right now. Let's go to Sandy in Burbank. Sandy, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hi, Randy. No more money. We need to quit giving these homeless people $1,200 a month to live on the street, phones, drugs, needles. We don't need housing. And housing, we have a housing shortage, but yet we're letting all these people come across the border and we're welcoming here, but supposedly we have a housing problem. And so we're just enabling everything. And our politicians are uneducated and they're not even aware of their resources or they don't care.
Oh, I think you're right about that. Thanks so much for the call, Sandy. You know, it's a funny thing, and two different people have brought this up, that Karen Bass is not super aware of the resources around her, even though she is, been living in Southern California her whole life and has been a local. She's been in Congress the last 12 years, which means she spent half the time in D.C. and focused on national issues. So there might be a few things that she should be checking in with her people about. Let's go to David in Pico Rivera. Last one on this subject. David, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Yeah, the lady a few callers back, she had it 100% right, because I live near Norwalk, and that building over there is empty. It is empty.
Well, and how many times have you heard these people say, we're going to take all of the government-owned and empty buildings and we're going to turn them into housing or we're going to turn them into a mental health facility? They never actually do it, and the buildings are there.
That's true, and it's a money grab. This mayor, I don't know why she keeps They keep asking for more. It's the Democrat way. More. That needs to stop. This is way out of control now. Way out of control. The homeless have had their shot. I'm sorry, but it's over now. You either sober up on your own, or I hate to say it, you're going to die on the street. Good night.
Good night. There you go. Thanks so much for the call, David. All right. That was a heck of a lot of calls. You guys are the best. It is the John Phillips Show. It is Randy Wang here, and it's Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Doctor.